I wanted to talk about Ukraine, but in a sense, about the George Floyd effect, as it has been dubbed. Because we've gone over this a lot, and as I've said many a time, and let's say it again, which is not an expert on the topic, don't know what's going on the ground, no one does, fog of war, all that. So people making ridiculous predictions sound ridiculous, and then are end up proven foolish by the way things are going, it seems. But also just, okay, sure, we'll see what's going on and report on what we can, because please no shoot, please no bully. It's a whole
I'm here.
thing.
I'm happy to be a fence sitter in this situation.
Just because what's going on in that regard. So this is the latest map. I don't know if you can click on that to get it up. And I did see some people wondering why we don't provide commentary on it, and it's because no, what's going on. But I did see a lot of commentary on this, so I'll say what we can know, because especially John has been following this incredibly closely. So you can see some people have said about the forces around Donetsk and Luhansk in the east there, who are maybe going to be surrounded if the southern branch pushes up and the one at Kharkov pushes down to encircle them. Maybe. I see some people speculating on that. Again, don't know. The Azov Brigade, or at least the majority of them, are in Mariupol, all encircled. So, good day, Nazis. I don't know what to say about that. That's that. Also, there's a beachhead, as you can see at the bottom, over the Dnieper River. And, well, now they have that completely. So they will be able to move forwards without the river stopping them there. There's also the strange situation. You can see the little, pop there from Belarus next to Kiev. This was strange. I'm not sure, but they seem to be pushing into Kiev directly, and then aren't doing that now, and are now trying to encircle it, which would have thought that's what they would do immediately. But again, that's the military situation as far as I can tell with what has been done. But if we go to the next one, we can see a video which I watched yesterday from Laserpig, because I like Laserpig. I've mentioned him before.
I've never heard of him.
He's a bit of a military nerd. Again, it's just he says himself.
That's right. When it comes to military stuff, I'm going to leave myself out of the conversation. I am not a strategist. I do not know what I am talking about.
So Laserpig even says himself, I'm underqualified. But this is his take. As you can see, I have no idea what is going on, because no one does. It's impossible. I don't know if you can hit play without the audio just for a second, John, for a second
The
point.
good thing is with stuff like this...
Either do you.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. It's like you said with the terrible takes the other day with people like Hassan commenting on it. If you don't know, just don't say, or at least say that you've got no real idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, or just wait for the information, because it's impossible to say, right now I definitely know what's going on when there's such a fog of war. However, so if you could pause that as well, because I don't want to spoil it. People should go and have a listen, because he's a funny guy, if nothing else. He does make one point in here in his analysis that people asked him to make, which I was speaking to John, and I think can be made at this point, because enough days have passed, which is the air war. So the airstrikes versus Desert Storm, for example. And, it's not very impressive, at least comparison to Desert Storm. And he makes the point of all the power plants still work, all the telecoms still work, everyone's still got TV access, or at least after day one, all of these things were gone.
And we are still getting plenty of videos coming from just people on their phones, so they can still charge their phones.
It's not exactly great when the guys ahead of you in the armored cars all got ambushed and blown up, and now you've been given a civilian truck to drive fuel to the front, and all the civilians keep taking pictures of you on their smartphones that they've charged last night, and are then uploading them onto the internet where anyone can find them.
It wouldn't feel that successful so far, would you?
No, for the analysis is, okay, they've not achieved that in the slightest. Air superiority and then an air campaign of meaningful effect in the same way Desert Storm was. Although this is probably just because they can't do it. They don't have the capacity like the Americans do.
I don't know if they'd want to go for a sort of scorched earth approach anyway.
Well, it's not so much that. It's just about blowing up key infrastructure parts. So the television's gone. I mean, the very famous example he gives in Desert Storm is the American generals were watching the CNN broadcast from Baghdad, and as soon as the CNN broadcast went off, they were like, right, job done.
Oh, great.
The enemy shouldn't be able to communicate with each other. That's the ideal situation, let's say. So they failed on that. As for everything else, but if we go to the next one, we can see some of the responses from Westerners. One wonderful Westerner, Diane Abbott, who decided to say she stands with Croatia.
She's always known for getting the facts right.
Let's play this clip.
Wrong is he seemed to think that his tanks could roll in to Croatia. Into Ukraine.
Diane Abbott moment.
That look on her face is like, did it again, damn.
Yeah, of course, she wasn't the only one. If we go to the next one, we have, of course, the State of the Union address from Biden, in which he said that he stands with the Iranian people. Again.
I mean, we say Sleepy Joe. I think Diane Abbott seems like she's half asleep most of the time anyway.
She's awake. She's just neurologically damaged.
Oh, okay.
Here we go to the next link. We see another Western response. This from Sadiq Khan I mentioned, which is he said, London is well prepared for a nuclear attack.
Don't invite one, Sadiq.
Sounds like he's saying it deserves one, which being there, I agree. Let's go to the next one.
Comment.
Let's go to the next one. So we have Kamala Harris, who decided to go on what is listed here, the Morning Hustle. So some apparently black-orientated radio station, and explain the situation. She did not explain it like a human being. She explained it like she was talking to a toddler. Let's play this.
If you're watching any level of news, even social media, you're seeing everything that's going on right now in the Ukraine. Break it down in layman's terms for people who don't understand what's going on and how can this directly affect the people of the United States.
So Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically, that's wrong.
Wow, we've got geography and ethics all in one little lecture right there.
It's
Beautiful. Was that for all the public school children tuning in to that station? What's going on with American education?
That is how you would describe things to a 5-year-old, not a member of the average public. I would have thought.
It says a lot about how she sees the audiences.
Oh, God. She just, there's small country, big country bad. Could you be?
They might as well have just gone, explain in football terms, unironically.
No, that's not even, again, this is not even that. No, it's not even I'm 5 pints down and trying to talk. I've literally got a 2-year-old that is like, what's Ukraine? And that's how she decided to respond to him. If we go to the next link, we can see someone turn this into a book report. As you can see.
You did it the night before, didn't you, Kamala?
Ukraine's country, Europe, next to a bigger country called Russia. What's going on? We go to the next one as well, because some people say, okay, well, maybe she just is dumbing it down for the American public. I was like, no, like she's spoken to other people on multiple bases, and as you can see here from her own Twitter account, talking to journalists and whatnot, where she's going to be describing again for the public, she speaks like a human being, explaining a situation.
Oh, so she doesn't just teach everybody like toddlers?
No. She decided to teach that radio station as toddlers,
okay.
which is a black majority radio station, which, if we go to the next one, there's actually something to mention on the book club active measures that I did with Carl. In the section in this, there's actually the Russians have the same opinion the Democrats do.
I'm not surprised. They're both socialists.
This is going to be pretty spicy.
Okay.
The Internet Research Agency, the troll farm, you may remember from the news, all those memes.
Yep.
Some journalist got in and then just leaked all the hand notes they had for how to work as a troll online. And the quote from the Russians: "Colored LGBT are less sophisticated than white. Therefore, complicated phrases and messages do not work. One document advised Black, Latino, and Native Americans are very sensitive to hashtag white privilege and react to posts and pictures that favor white people."
So this is the
Russians being ridiculously racist.
No, this sounds like the Democratic platform for the past few years.
Yes.
It really does. It really does.
And I really do believe the example of Kamala there really illustrates it.
I'm not surprised the Dems are getting all of their talking points from Soviet propaganda.
Russian, not Soviet.
Russian propaganda.
Yeah, but I really do not believe the Dems don't have the same kind of writing in their own PR training. Let's be frank. After that performance.
And what's the
big small country?
No, what's the famous quote attributed to Lyndon B. Johnson? I think it is.
Can we say that? Can we transmit that?
We'll get those slurs voting Democrat for the next 200 years.
Right, that's Lyndon B. If we go to the next one, let's move on from those Westerners and instead see the other Western response, which is I'm going to cancel Russia.
Yeah,
this is weird. So you have Apple halts sale of products in Russia. Okay, I could see this as a financial sanction, maybe. And we have one Russian response to this situation. This is posted on 4chan.
I think I've seen this as well.
Quote from some guy. "This war is effing hell. Since Apple turned off Apple Pay for our country, I need to type in my credit card number every time I want to order some munchies. I hope it sends soon. I hope it stops soon, because this is really annoying."
Oh, my stomach's starting to ache.
Okay. I enjoy the memes. But let's to go to the next one. We also have the fact that the French satellite apparently carrying Russia today has decided to just turn it off. So if you wanted to see that, too bad. That's no longer transmitted in all of Europe. Cannot see it.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah, if you go online in Europe as well, on YouTube, that is also blocked, because this is a liberal society that can stand up to foreign lies. You know how authoritarian societies can't stand up to foreign lies, and therefore have to censor them? And liberal ones don't need to? What are we doing?
The funny thing is, it's Russian state media, so it's obviously going to be presenting only their side of the argument. But it's still very useful for the public to be aware of what their argument is.
Sure, but if we are a liberal society, we should be able to deal with that as well.
Yeah.
Openly, our leaders are saying, no, you are children, and we must manage what you see. This is not a world I want to live in. This is terrifying.
That's just the strategy in politics for the past 2 years.
Yeah, but the fact that they're going after... So on YouTube, you can't even look up Russia Today right now. That's not a reasonable or free thing.
Who is it you pointed out? They've taken it off Sky, but Al Jazeera, still readily available.
So, of course, Al Jazeera, perfectly fine. But you can see here as well, the Russians pointing out that, well, the BBC is spreading fake news, so we're just going to ban the BBC. Good job, Nadine Dorris, our culture secretary. You banned Russia Today, so they're going to ban the BBC. Fantastic. No information exchange. That'll help liberalize Russia. Idiots. If we go to the next one, we can also see the fact that, as I noted, it's gone from Freeview. Even my dad sent me this. It's
Heartbroken.
It's just not there anymore. Can't even see. But Al Jazeera, that's fine. Qatari-funded media. If we go to the next one, we can also see the EU saying that they're just combating war propaganda. But again, Al Jazeera, just fine. Let's go to the next one. As you can see, Al Jazeera, still available on YouTube. No problem there. If we go to the next one, you also have their youth wing, AJ+. Who I'm sure a lot of people will be familiar with, because they ran loads of apologia for, like, Charlie Hebdo. And then
of course
run videos constantly just being like, yes, America bad. They owe money to this group or that group. Just
destroy the West.
Any divide in Western society. It's the same playbook as Russia Today. And, of course, you can say that's bad or good or useful or not. That's fine, whatever. What's the point is, can we stand up to these foreign lies? Can we stand up to these kind of subverts? Well, with AJ Plus and Al Jazeera, apparently yes, but Russia Today, no. Interesting. If we continue, we can also say this before we even get to the dirty, dirty smear merchants who never have propaganda transmitted on their airwaves.
Not once.
Not once.
I've not done a book club on an entire book about the New York Times spreading misinformation and lies throughout their entire history.
No. If we go to the next link, we can see at least one person standing up for Western civilization here. As you can see, Odyssey. I'm sure BitChute and all the others will be doing the same, but I saw Odyssey here saying, Russia Today has found its new home with us. We are not banning any news networks. It's a slippery slope. Good on you.
Yeah, fair play.
That is the correct Western thing to do, not the Eastern thing to do on this matter. But then we have the fact that we're just banning stupid stuff because we're stupid. Okay, the next one. So this was a university in Milan that bans the teaching of a Russian writer because he was Russian.
Fyodor Dostoevsky as well.
Dostoevsky was sent to Siberian labor camp for reading banned books in Tsarist Russia, as you see there.
Time is a flat circle, my friend.
The West are idiots. What are we doing? This isn't helpful at all. I also saw that, what was it? There's a cat award ceremony. They banned Russian breeds of cats attending in solidarity with Ukraine.
Putin.
It's dumb.
Putin was really looking forward to his little kitten getting #1.
This isn't when we aren't having real debates about the real issues, such as trans rights in Ukraine.
Ooh, yay.
Let's go to the next one. So we can see CBS reporting on transgender acceptance in Ukraine is not widespread. Oh, no.
This is what we need to be focusing on.
They could also be dead within 24 hours, CBS, but we don't want to misgender the corpse.
No. They're transgender. That means that everyone's always trying to kill them. This is actually Russia trying to eliminate the trans population, obviously.
It's the secret reason for all this.
Yeah.
As they say, it's a war within a war.
It's their big brain.
It's not. If we go to the next one, there is some meme here. I'm not really sure what went on. A lot of people pointed this out. It was funny.
Russian Dr. Phil.
Yeah, so you can see here Belarusian leader Lukashenko decided to hold some press conference so he could look like a big military man, and had a board full of plans, including future invasion plans, and he put this live on TV.
Is he colonel yet?
I don't think so.
Oh.
He hasn't remade the Soviet
That
army.
was the plan.
If we go to the next one, of course, this could also just be fake because, well, it's war, so you sometimes leak things on purpose, so who knows, but whatever. It's still very funny, so it could just be way too over the top. But now I wanted to talk about the reason I named the segment about the George Floyd effect. Let's go to the next one. So this is someone pointing out, I would like to coin the term the George Floyd effect, meaning when a global event occurs and normies move en masse to voice their allegiance with the correct side as deemed by the media/elite. No nuance, just pure allegiance, which is communicated via social media. And to start off, I'm just going to say, Easterners, anyone in Ukraine, none of this applies to you. Any of you living in Eastern Europe are NATO members. None of this applies to you, of course.
This is a purely Western phenomenon.
You guys are dealing with active invasion and invasion on your borders. No. This is not you guys. These are the Westerners I'm talking to now.
These are the Americans, primarily, I find, who can only view things through an American lens.
Not just them. This is much throughout the Anglosphere. We are all guilty of this, or at least our society seems to be guilty of this.
That is true.
So if we go to the next one, there's someone who's put this into an image. So as you can see, I support the current thing, and then the NPC logo. And we have a lot of this because normies are going to normie, and normies will normie. So what can you do about them? But there is a thing, and I've jotted down here. Normally nuanced people, and I've seen a fair few, and we've gone through a few of the retarded responses previously, who are nuanced, have just like become NPCs on this issue. And it's not to say that, Russia good or any... No. This isn't about that. This is the fact that you have people who haven't said anything about Ukraine for until 7 days ago, haven't read anything, don't know anything, but all of a sudden have the strongest possible opinions on the matter. I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. And I've noted down people who are like, Ukraine, Russia, goodies only do good, so I am for the good things. Anyone who brings up anything that makes my side look even slightly questionable, they's a bot. Like, no discussion, just you are bad. Even if it's not even sincere or like, oh, this changes the dynamic completely, it's just, this is a bit silly. No, that can't be.
Only an NPC could disagree with me, said the NPC.
Yeah. And then you've got, purposeful misinformation, accidental misinformation, and people make these opinions based on such things that they've seen on Twitter. They've never spoken about Ukraine. They can't find Ukraine on a map, but, 7 days ago a thing happened and now they're radically obsessed with it.
We heard how Kamala Harris had to explain this to some people. But I'm sure those people she was explaining it to had a very strong opinion on the subject.
But any of those people who then walked away, put a Ukraine flag in their bio and started screeching about it on Twitter, it's just...
Oh, you absolutely know that they did.
This is what I'm talking about, these kinds of people. The kind of people we showed who said, non-binary children in Ukraine are the same thing. This is a George Floyd moment. There was one lady who literally said, this is George Floyd all over again.
Yep. I honestly, when I saw what you'd named this segment, I thought that's what it was going to be focusing on.
That's part of it.
I actually think the George Floyd effect is a good term to use moving forwards.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that. It's because, as I've noted, this is exactly the same thing as what happened with George Floyd's death. Not that any of these events are similar. What is similar is the Westerners' response, specifically the kind of Westerner we're talking about, in which I've seen a video, cops love murdering black people. Anyone who disagrees with me is a racist murder apologist. And that's the end of the conversation. Black Lives Matter. Why wouldn't you tweet it? Are you racist? Mm-hmm. That kind of dense response to an event. And we see some of that the same. And we also saw it with Charlie Hebdo. I don't know if we can go to the next link, just to show. There should be Douglas Murray in there if you can. No. This is an example exactly what I'm talking about. Sorry, John. So this is a guy who decided to tweet this, right? There are no more innocent, neutral Russians anymore. Everyone has to make a choice. Support or oppose this war. The only way to end this war is if hundreds of thousands, not thousands, protest against the censorship war. Putin can't arrest you all. As if innocent Russians, who have no influence,
I know,
are no longer innocent.
Well, that's the thing. To absolutely try my best to steelman this position, because I've seen it, I can see that what he's saying is that in response to the war, anybody in Russia who doesn't want the war to be going on should protest and do all that sort of stuff in a country that is notorious for political dissidents and other such vanishing off the face of the earth. Maybe not the best thing to be pushing for, and obviously starting off by saying that there's no innocent or
innocent
neutral Russians. Interestingly, I sent this to you last night. I don't know if you saw it, but I found a tweet from this guy from last year, almost a year ago in March, where he says, "I'm always careful to criticize Putin's policies, but not Russian people."
But now there are no innocent people.
So you're talking about people trying to be nuanced and then just forgetting it. This guy is even more of an example.
So, I mean, again, there is no such thing as innocence, only degrees of guilt. If we go to the next one, there's also his book, which made us laugh. I read about reading it together last day. From Cold War to Hot Peace, there are no innocents.
Yeah, but this isn't war, this is just very hot peace. Oh, this peace, it's scorching.
Yeah, but back to my point. So if we go to the next one, we see Douglas. Because this happened with Charlie Hebdo as well. And I couldn't find the video. I've just picked the video of Douglas because pretty boy. But the point he's made in one of his videos, which is after Charlie Hebdo, he very quickly realized who you can actually rely upon, who's got a steady head in a panic. Because all these people who have been saying they were liberals and they would stand for freedom of expression suddenly wanted to censor the cartoons. In Britain, we didn't print them. No TV station held them.
Wasn't one of the interesting things, I think it was, of all people, Seth MacFarlane, the Family Guy creator, when he was around the time that happened, was being asked about it on like Bill Maher or something, and he was like, I wouldn't touch it, because they were like, well, like South Park's done all this dodgy stuff where they've like pushed the line when it comes to Islam, and Seth MacFarlane just came out as basically an absolute coward.
Yes. I mean, it's a perfect moment to find out who can be relied upon. Mm-hmm. And it's not, none of these specific events are connected in any other way other than this Western response, which is the thing happens and some people just become irrational. And it's painful to see. And I thankfully, Charlie Hebdo had a right answer, which is defend freedom, reject Islamism. So that was easy enough. But loads of people got that wrong, as you mentioned, even Seth MacFarlane apparently. And that's that. And again, I mean, you can have disagreements about all these things, and there will be more battles to fight, so let's move on from that. But in the meantime, I'm going to end the segment off because life is short. Apparently, it's very short if you're in Ukraine, so let's try and cheer some people up if they're watching from there. Let's have some memes.
Yeah!
So, let's end this off. I know people criticize me for enjoying memes, but life is short. So as you can see here...
What's the point of war if you can't laugh?
See Russian aircraft have Stinger missile, kaboom. This was as well.
Babushka.
Laserpig also noted this was like meant to be the super uber advanced Russian helicopter, can counter any modern weapon system, and was taken down by an 80 Stinger missile. But it has actually been blown up. You can see the footage. If we go to the next one, I also noticed there was, we all wish the Ukrainian negotiators their best. However, if you can click on the first image there, we can see, I'm not trying to be rude, but
he does.
Guys in suits, and then the Ukrainian side, there's just this guy with a black baseball cap and a black shirt. If we go to the right, his outfit does only remind me of one thing, which is, would you like fries with that?
Hey man, he came in with their fries, and they're like, wait, sit down. You might have something important to say.
Someone needs to do the coffee run. We dominate you.
No, this man just sits down, immediately takes over the meeting.
I have no idea.
Here are my demands.
He's probably the smartest guy in the room, but just his expression as well gives me the sense that he's like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
I ain't paid enough for this. Minimum wage.
So we go to the next one. There's also the story, apparently Turkey have started sending their attack drones to the Ukrainians to help them out with all this. So we have an artist rendition, interpretation of the future days to come. If we go to the next one, we can see that rendition. Yeah, there we are. Turk bro face. And if we go to the next one, we can see the truck, which I'm going to use the thumbnail because, again, this is so funny. Like, I get that it's a vehicle and it works or whatever, but this is meant to be an ambulance for the Russians. So it's just covered in those little Z's.
Imagine going into war. All right, boys, you ready? You're geared up. Here's your vehicle. Oh.
There's all these guys in armored cars that have all been blown up in ambushes, and then they give you this.
Yep. Again, we also have a large Doberman dog to take with you. You can track down mysteries and solve them.
Yeah. So this has become a point of good memes as well. If we go to the next one, we can see Pepe himself driving it. In my head, he's playing Almost Heaven, West Virginia. Please don't kill me. And then there have been the renditions of this as the Mystery Machine, because, I mean, look at it. So if we go to the next one, we can see that. So I don't know if you want to do the reading for this one.
Okay, this is gonna be for the meme videos. Like Zoink, Scoob! We better find the gang!
Thanks, Shaggy.
You're welcome.
No, it's your nickname. Go to the next one as well. We can see the last. I don't know if you want to do this one as well.
Like Zoink, Scoob! This doesn't feel like a military exercise!
Anyway, that's the Hanna-Barbera rendition of the war. What's going on? Fog of war. No one knows. Anyone pretending they know for sure is just not being serious. But that's the George Floyd effect in practice for some Westerners, of course. Not people who know what's going on. All the Easterners who are suffering with the situation. But thank you very much. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast The Lotuses, you can go over to lotuses.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as this series, which is Epochs, of course. As you can see, this is a special guest, Count Dankula, to do a special thing on historical mad lads with bow. And if you want to follow more stuff from Lotuses, of course, you can go over to Getter and follow us at lotuseaters_com. Thank you and goodbye.